Awesome. Welcome, guys. Thanks for being here tonight. We're really excited about this call. So before we dive into recruiting, I have like a couple little announcements. Um, if you have someone that is in the going silver chat or getting started right chat, we want to just like make sure that everybody understands that when you have a person in that chat and you're in there with them, that is a chat that we want y'all to be shouting out their actions that they're doing to go silver. Things like making a post, things like putting in three-way messages, things like taking your advice on a message. Maybe they did something scary that day. They went live or
This
they did
way.
something out of their comfort zone.
Oh, wait.
That chat is for us, that's their only space currently to feel our community, to feel our encouragement. And so we really, really need you guys as their sponsors and as their leaders to make sure that you're like pumping them up in there. It is not just a chat that like you have to be like, oh, well, I'll let like Jordan needs to say that. Y'all are in there in the thick of it with her and really like use that space to encourage your people. Tag them in something. If like Jordan posts something and you want them to see it, make sure you're tagging it and just shout them out a lot. We want there to be a lot of chatter in there of just encouragement and praise. Cool. Um, okay, let's move into the fun recruitment stuff tonight. Help if I share my screen before I pulled up my PowerPoint.
Don't worry about what stupid people say because if somebody's name is Simon, they're probably Brady.
All right. Okay, guys. So a few things. One of the reasons we're talking about recruitment tonight, guys, is because if you did not know, for our contest this month, any of your level ones, like that you add, your new ads this month are counting double credits for you this month. And so while we know recruitment is a huge pillar and it's really important, we are especially focused on that this month because of the contest, right? Drop a one in the comments if you are super pumped about this leaders retreat contest because I don't know about y'all, but I really want to go to Cancun. So, whether you feel like you are a wonderful recruiter or you have some other thoughts in your head, Marissa and I are super excited tonight to just share some really good in-depth tips with y'all. Not just about like, let's go send a ton of messages this month. While that is something you probably need to do, we want to get like into some nitty-gritty details on things you can do to be a better recruiter. And not to 100% toot our horns, but maybe a little bit, we wanted to qualify ourselves for this call for y'all. And so, just so that you know, Marissa and I have both been doing this for um, almost 5 years for me, and Marissa's like just a little bit longer than that. And every year, guys, with the exception of maybe one, we both are on the top 10 recruiters for our whole entire team. And we're proud of that. It's something that we have spent a lot of time learning about. It's something that we spend a lot of time investing in for personal development. And we have learned a lot over the span of these years on how to be better and do better. And we just want to share that information with y'all tonight. So, um, how do you do this? How do you recruit like crazy this month and take advantage of the points? How do you really close the deal? How do you combat these objections you might be getting all the time? We're going to dive into all these things tonight. Um, so first things first, guys, is yes, I am going to talk about things like closing the deal. Yes, I am going to talk about things like, um, I don't know where my screen went, if my PowerPoint left y'all too. Yes, I am going to talk about these things that are like, where did it go? There we go. We're going to be sharing about stuff where I talk about like, here's how you move the conversation forward. But I want to make sure y'all understand that just because we are selling something to someone doesn't mean that you get to forget that there is a person on the other side of these conversations. It is a huge privilege, y'all, to have these in-depth conversations with people. I don't know about you guys, but for real, I am on like the receiving end of some really important information sometimes. Sometimes I'm the first one that people say, like, hey, actually, I'm pregnant. Is that okay for me to take these products? Or, hey, maybe they share with me they had something really sad and terrible happen in their lives, or they're currently going through and experiencing. And I want to make sure that I am doing a good job of remembering that while I want to maybe sign this person up for Plexus, first and foremost, it is my job to be a good human. It is my job to be present in that conversation with them, pay attention to what they are telling me, and make sure that I am giving it the appropriate attention that it deserves, okay? Because it is a lot of responsibility, but like, how cool is that that we get to be on the receiving end of some of these stories of these people's lives? And so, every conversation you have, your first thought is, wait, what is this person actually saying to me? And if I were sitting on a couch next to them, how would I reply to that news that they just gave me? And if you say that to yourself almost every single message that they send you, I guarantee you, you are going to improve on the way that you speak to people in general. Okay. Um, so raise your hand. And in fact, no, I can't see anyone's faces. I don't know why it does this. Marissa, this is what you were talking about. Okay, there you are. I see you now. Raise your hand if you have ever felt like your conversations that you've been having are just like going dead. We have a lot of cameras on. So raise your hands if you've ever felt that, okay? Raise your hand if you feel like you get a lot of objections and then people just like back out all of a sudden. Okay, maybe you're working on overcoming objections. Okay, great. No shame here, y'all. I put this on here because I've been there, done that on all these things. Raise your hand if you ever thought in your head, or maybe you've even said out loud, I'm not a good recruiter. Okay, thank y'all for being so honest. Thank you for just like owning that because we've all been there. So first things first is if you are thinking these things or telling yourself these things, what excuses have you been giving yourself for your recruiting struggles? What things have you been saying, or what kind of excuses have you been giving yourself if you've had difficulties navigating conversations? I want you to be really honest. I want you to think about like, what is your head talk there? Are you sitting there and saying like, well, I just like, I don't have time to give a long reply? Are you saying like, oh, I'm just like not good at this. I'm not a people person. Or maybe you're just like, I always get a price objection, right? What are some of these negative thoughts that you're having in your head? The good news is that just like any skill, connecting with people is something that you can learn. I put this video in here. This is my little Hank, and he's almost 8, y'all. But this is him when he's about like 20 months old. And it cracks me up because whenever he shoots this shot, like it's so awful, right? Like we all start here with every piece of this business, is we all like get real confident and we shoot that shot and we're like, maybe they'll sign up. And then maybe we go back and we watch the replay, or we go back and read some of our previous messages and we think, oh my Lanta, I like can't believe I said what I said, right? And so this is a skill. It's something that you can learn, but you have to be willing to do that. And so my challenge to you is if you've been that person that's been like, I'm not good at recruiting, or I'm not like good at overcoming objections. People always just back out. When was the last time you picked up a book? When was the last time you went and poured through 3 YouTube videos in a row? Not just ones that are like, AA, you got this, girl, let's go crush our goals. But when was the last time you went and scoured YouTube, Plexus related YouTube, and specifically looked for trainings about recruiting people? When was the last time you went and looked for YouTube videos about how to have good conversations with people? Be honest with yourself there. And if you're like, I've never done that maybe before, that's okay. But my challenge for you is to start there. Don't have all these excuses and not be willing to go learn, because this is a skill you can learn, but not through osmosis, not just by like standing next to a good recruiter. You have to actually go and like dig deep in this and see how you can become better. Okay. So Those of you, if you know deep down this is you, can you make a promise to yourself that you're going to go find a YouTube video? Spend 20 minutes trying to find one. And if you can't, go to your sponsor and ask him for one. Cool? All right. Marissa, I think you're up. And I may have stole your
Yep.
last time. My bad.
No,
That's
you're
okay.
good. You're good. Um, yeah, I just want to reiterate like the YouTube thing. I know we have a lot of good videos on the app right now, but seriously, like go find a couple diamonds. Like my go-to is always Christina Williams. Like she just trains so well. If I'm trying to improve a skill, I will watch a video and I will literally re-watch it several times until I truthfully understand the system. So like there's no shame in that. We all start new somewhere. Jordan just talked about this on the Meat Plexus last night. Like we all start new. So yes, thank you, Taylor. Those are all some really great places to start for YouTube channels. Okay. Um, so new reach outs. I actually really love new reach outs. I know it's always kind of like the daunting thing, like, oh, I got to put myself out there because you do. You have to put yourself out there. Like, but what if instead, I just had somebody say this to me as an objection for starting the business was like, well, I'm just nervous to put myself out there. And I'm like, well, what if what if you thought about that vulnerable piece as courage? Because truthfully, it is. And that is actually where, I don't know if you guys saw it, I shared that Brene Brown video in our team chat because I watched it so that I could go send it to her. Because I wanted her to feel empowered in the fact that it's okay to feel vulnerable. In fact, if you don't, you're not allowing yourself really to help anybody else. So that vulnerability and reaching out and doing these new reach outs is actually so fun to me. It's so encouraging because I always, even if I don't get responses or even if people say no, I always find the good in it because somebody will say something back to me and it will spark a conversation. And whether they end up ordering in that moment or not, it's okay because there's new conversation happening. And I know we've had a good interaction, and now they're going to see some of my posts. They're going to get some of my information. They're going to continue to connect with me. And eventually, it may turn into another conversation that we have. But either way, if I don't put myself out there, I'm never expanding my network. And truthfully, like it is a numbers game when it comes down to it. Like we need to, like, this is what they're talking about in getting loud in Plexus. Like, if we're not doing this, we're not hitting people. Like, we're not talking to the people. Like, if you have this vision of you want this really big business with this legacy of team and these leaders and these people on stage with you, like, we got to reach out. We have to. So, it doesn't always come out perfectly, right? And so thinking about like those YouTube videos, a lot of times if I am feeling like a little bit funky, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to send a message right now because I'm feeling funky and I know this is going to come across in my message because it does, even if you don't think it does. What I am not saying, do not hear me say that this does not mean that you just don't go send messages because you don't feel like it. Or you just don't send messages because you don't feel motivated. Because I don't know if anybody has said this to you, but some of you maybe need to hear this is that motivation doesn't stick, guys. It doesn't stick. You got to motivate yourself. So go watch the video, help yourself feel more confident by doing the thing. You don't learn to ride a bike the first time. You get better at it. You start doing no hands. You start doing all these things like after you practice. And so here's two examples. Okay. Here's one. Hey, Gina. Can you believe it's been 10 years since we graduated? Already, I'm like looking at this message. I'm like, I know this person is feeling so weird about reaching out to this person that they have not talked to in 10 years. So props to you, first of all, for already doing the thing. How are you? Not sure if you've seen, but I started to taking some gut health supplements and I've noticed changes in my mood and bathroom stuff. How or would you like to learn more about it? Okay, this is a good message. This is a great place to start. Take this template. But look at the other one. It's better. Already just looking at it, it's easier on the eye. I like it already better because it's sectioned out. It's easier for to me to read. Listen, there's probably a lot of people like me that get a message and they just start immediately skim, 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 skim. Okay, they want to see what you're getting, what's the point, right? So make your message look that way. Let it be easy on the eye. Put some emojis in there. And I know I am not good at emojis. I literally have to think about it. I have gotten so much feedback from that, and I appreciate it because I'm on the go and I'm like, da, 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 period here when there probably should have been an exclamation mark, whatever. Okay, because I'm not showing my excitement. So I have to literally think about if I was in front of this person, how would I sound and what would I actually say? And that's how I approach every single message. And sometimes, like if you've ever messaged me and I don't get back to you right away, it's probably because I have like three kids talking to me at the same time. And I know that I can't respond to you in that moment the way that I would if you were standing in front of me. And so I'll wait to respond to you until I can. And that's also okay. Okay, so she goes on to say the first part's the beginning. Can you believe it's been 10 years since we graduated? Little granny emoji, like already fun. Love it. Okay. Not sure if you've seen, but I started taking supplements for gut health and I've noticed big changes in mood and, bathroom stuff. Being conversational. Okay. Already. Would you be curious to learn more about it? Happy to be a resource. Now, I'm sure some of you have some things that you may change, but just off the bat, please unmute. Guys, please unmute and tell me, like, what is something that you notice that makes this one better than the other one?
It's fun.
It's fun.
It's happy.
It's happy. We've got emojis. We've got laughing faces.
Okay,
It's
something
nat
that
it's natural. It's
It's
just
natural.
natural.
Feels natural.
Hmm.
something that I love about the second one, which I think so many times goes unrecognized, is like taking a minute to kind of be playful and laughing about awkward topics. Like in the first one, when it was like, I've noticed changes in my mood and bathroom stuff, it's like, okay, well, nobody's going to talk about the fact that they're constipated. But in the second one, she was like, well, bathroom stuff. It's like, yeah, girl, same. Like when you make light and you joke of awkward topics, it lets other people feel free to respond about their awkward things too.
Mhm. I also love in the second one, the question is very similar, but I do like the question with the second one, how it does lend to a little bit more like openness, I guess, with just saying, are you curious to learn more? Because instead of it being like an immediate, yes, I want to learn more, it's like, yeah, I'm kind of curious. And it gives people a little bit easier of an in. Like people are a little bit more apt to be like, yeah, sure. Like the number of times I've gotten a sure from that. And then it's like, then I send the symptoms chart, and then suddenly they're like, oh, I deal with all these things. It's like, okay, yeah, uh-huh. So it just lends a little bit more to being able to have people say more to you or just be like, yeah, sure, kind of maybe just send me some info, right? Also, if they say just send me some info, never just go send some info, like ask another question. Okay. All right.
Yeah, only other thing I want to say on this one is if you really look at the content of both of these guys, not much changed. And
Mm-mm.
think about when you are in real life with a person, you can say a sentence one way, and you can say that exact same sentence, but you can change your facial expressions, you can change your intonations, things like that, like those, what am I trying to say? Um, like body language, but those other cues, it's called something. Anyways, but you can change those things. So if you are texting, this is the same thing, but for texting. Okay. You can obviously also send a voice message, but sometimes y'all people don't listen to voice messages. So you may have to follow up with some text. And this is kind of like how you make those really nuanced changes to make it better.
Yeah. And I will say, like, when I'm sending a message like that, oftentimes, okay, there's been times where I feel like this pressure of what do they need to hear? What will they say yes to? Right? Can I just free you from that? Stop thinking that. Stop thinking, what are they going to say yes to? Or how do I make this perfect so that they respond? Stop doing that and just be you. I literally think about if this person were standing in front of me, what would I say that would get a conversation going in general? Or what would I say to them that would get a conversation going about plexus that allows them space to ask me questions and think about it while I'm also exuding to them that I feel so confident in what this is without being like right in their face, like giving them some space, but standing tall. Like I visualize that for myself when I'm messaging. And like smile when you're sending a message. It always turns out better. I know it sounds funny. Guys, I've been teaching fourth graders all day. I just tell them to smile all day. Um, okay, so this one's also me. Now, no, it's not. This is you, Britt.
My bad. I put it as me because I'm like real passionate about this, guys. Okay, so the message on the left, the gray one, this is what a customer or a potential, sorry, not a customer, a potential says to you. Hi, I'm so sorry. Things have been crazy in our house. After the trip, I started a new job. Husband's work hours have been wild, still struggling with sister's sleep, and now my husband's getting ready for a trip, so it's been all over the place. I didn't want you to think I was ignoring you or forgot about you. So first things first. Quit making people's response time and their timeline mean something about you. Y'all, this girl is going through it, okay? Assume people are going through it and plexus is not the first thing on their mind, okay? And then she said, I've always struggled with tummy stuff, been told IBS, but it's so up and down, I don't know what to call it. But these days, I'm probably drinking more coffee to focus and get through the day more than I should be being a breastfeeding mom, but I'm just tired. No other issues, just need more focus, energy, motivation, and my tummy to feel better all the time. Haha. Y'all, she just like poured out her soul to us, okay? She gave us so much information here and let us in on so much of her life. That's where we go back to like, what a privilege, right? What a responsibility. If someone pours their heart out to you, sitting next to you on the couch and says these things, you wouldn't go and say, well, girl, based on what you've told me, I think you should try our triplex. It'll help a ton. You wouldn't do that. That's why I put good question mark, because that's not good. Take it out of the option, y'all. When someone pours their heart out to you, quit immediately going and offering products, okay? Take a breath. Read again what they wrote to you. If you are not rereading their texts and what they're saying to y'all guys, you're making that's a mistake, guys. Go back and reread it and really like internalize what they're saying. If you're distracted while you're reading it, go back and read it again later before you reply, just like what Marissa was saying. So here's a better response. Oh my goodness, busy, busy for real. I hate that you're dealing with these weird stomach issues. I definitely want to send you some info for that. But regarding energy and coffee, don't be too hard on yourself. Y'all could tell in her message, she felt bad about that. She was like, I'm drinking coffee and I'm a breastfeeding mom. So I said, regarding energy and coffee, don't be too hard on yourself. You've got to do something to make it through your day. I think that the things I'm thinking for your tummy troubles can help with cutting back on the coffee, though. So double whammy. I just got home, but if I send you a 2-minute video, could you watch it? Um, Y'all, I put this message in here because I'm pretty positive this was an actual message I sent. It is not perfect. At right now, I still would change like 3 things about this, okay? I still don't believe that I gave this enough time for what she told me. I still was kind of like, okay, let me like kind of get to the point, right? I was working on Brittany's timeline. Maybe I was in kind of this mode of desperation where I was like, I really need to sign someone today. Oh shoot, it's the end of the month. I haven't been working my business all month and I need to hurry up and get someone. Okay, anybody ever thought that before?
Mhm.
Okay. And so I still would change things about this. All right. But I do want to bring a couple takeaways from this message. I did address what she said to me. I did try to make her feel better about something that she clearly had a little bit of shame about. Right. Um, and one good question that I always ask people when it is time to send a video or a third-party tool, I always say, if I send you a 3-minute video, could you watch it? Okay. And then I just wait. It might take her 3 days to reply to this, y'all. But if you ask those questions, then they're going to say yes. Then you can send it, and the timeline works better in your favor. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I'm big on Feel Felt Found, guys, because these are humans, okay? These are our peers, these are our fellow moms. These are our moms and dads' friends. These are strangers. And this is a way for you to get to know them. And the more you find out now early on, the better you're going to also be able to serve them as a customer and make the best recommendations in general for their products.
Hey, can I interrupt real quick and ask y'all a question on how you would respond to this? So I feel like sometimes when we get these messages, sometimes it can be easy to think like, okay, well, I don't necessarily want to recommend a product or jump into Plexus because they did just pour out their heart to me. So I really want to be compassionate and I want to lean into that. And I don't want them to think I'm being salesy or weird. And so maybe they go into more of like hardcore relationship and hardcore compassion mode and kind of don't necessarily jump into, hey, let me send you something that could help you feel better. What would you guys say to anybody who maybe is dealing with that, like the opposite?
Yeah, like where you, well, so I will say that for this person, this was someone who like I was reaching out to about Plexus. And so like they knew like we had already had that initial reach out. And I think I was talking about like, I know you're a mom, I'm a mom, maybe you're doing great, but if you're not, like I'd kind of love to open that conversation. And so this was her response to that. So she kind of already knew I was talking about Plexus. But even so, if I was a little afraid to like make that switch, some things I've done in the past is if someone like we start to get in a heavy conversation, I let it roll and I go for it. And then if there gets to be a point where I'm like, how do I bring this up? Or we've kind of finished maybe talking about that topic, I will say, hey, I want to circle back to why we initially started talking. Would you still be open to me recommending some products that I think might help? I ask them a question. It's usually short and sweet like that. And they always say yes. They're always like, oh, yeah, my bad. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad we had that conversation. I'm so glad we chit chatted about that. I want to bring us back to why we initially were talking. And would you be open with me sharing about the products I love that have helped me? And they're like, yeah. So I just bring it up that way.
Yeah. And I think for me, I mean, similar, but I also I also like to like I'm really big on in conversations like this. I'm always I'm like a big encourager with people. So I like to really help encourage whoever it is that I'm talking to feel empowered to be able to make a next step regardless of where they are, like whatever that circumstance is, and allow them to feel some freedom in that and just like confidence in knowing that, hey, everything's, it's a poop storm around here right now. Like it's just not, things are not going good. And obviously, like I'm there for them. I talk them through it. We connect, we do all of those friendship things. But oftentimes I'll say something like, listen, I know this might not even be, I don't even know what I just said, might not be a good time for you right now, but I've got this thing coming up, whether it's a product call or an event, and I will invite them. So like, just come listen. Like maybe it's not a good time, but then you at least have the information for when you do feel ready to take that next step. And so I like to just empower people either with information or just feeling that confidence in being able to say like, hey, I know that my family really needs me right now because we've got this going on. And I understand that. And I'll say, hey, but I also know that like mom to mom, woman to woman, like don't forget about you, like allow yourself to feel that. And I usually will relate to them on that because I've been there a million times. And I'm like, I know what that feels like. Like, don't run yourself ragged. Like, allow yourself some space. I'm here for you. If you want some information, if you want to attend this event, let me send you a video, whatever, right? And then at least they have it at their fingertips and they know that they can come to you. Like when the time is right. Like I just had somebody recently just do that to me. She's like, hey, I had been trying this like GLP-1 thing and it's not working. What do you got? And I was like, and of course, and here's a perfect example. I could have been like, oh, great, here's the combo for you. No, 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 no. what I did was, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you came to me. I didn't know that that was something that you were dealing with. Like, what are you looking for? That was it. And then she gave me more information. So, you know, allowing space for them to talk to you and allowing space for them to feel like they can take a next step, regardless of where they currently are. And I think that flows right into this building belief. So here's two different messages. When we are helping people get ordered, okay, we're helping people get ordered. Here's the good. I've made your cart. The link is below. It's set up on a subscription, but don't worry, you don't have to keep it on. It's super flexible and I can help you cancel at any time. Now, I know what you're doing. You want to help them get started and you want to take away some of the anxiety that they may feel about now I've got this subscription. But what you're doing is you're literally like taking away so much of the work that you just did. It's like allowing them this massive scapegoat to be like, oh, she said I can cancel at any time. It's really no big deal. Instead of when we look at the other one, it says, okay, now that you're sitting down and ready, because you have already prepped them with, hey, if I send you a link, are you going to be able to use it right now? I literally say that. Do not feel bad to tell somebody or ask somebody if they can do it right now. How many times have you been like, dang, I wish they sent it to me right now because I'm on my phone right now, right? And then they send it to you when you're not at your phone right now, okay? So you can ask them that. And then, okay, here's your cart link. I can't wait for you to get started. Be sure to check out. Be sure at checkout that you see your free shipping. So you're lining them up with what they're expecting to have. Okay, that's again, building trust. Make sure you have this. We talked about you having this. Just like we talked about, your subscription is on because rooted healing takes time. I'll be checking in on you like crazy the first several months. So if we need to tweak after month 2, we can chat about that. So the difference here, you guys, is we are setting them up to be expected to use their products for at least 2 months. Nothing is going to happen magical in just 30 days. Yeah, they might feel some better energy. Yeah, they might feel a little bit different in their cravings. But whatever they're dealing with, those cravings are going to come right back without a full up to 4 Pro 5. Seriously, if you're not getting your people to 4 Pro 5, you're missing out. Okay. So get them up there, figure out what they need to do afterward. But we are setting them up with belief that, hey, I'm hearing what she's saying. She's telling me I need to be on these products for 60 days, but I know there's a subscription on, but we're going to be talking about it. And if there's things that we need to tweak, or if I need to change the day, or if we need to add something in, or if, this product didn't sit well with me and we want to try something different, we can, right? But this is building their belief in, I know what I'm doing. I can trust in her. I have already committed to getting the link and ordering. And so there's no reason that anybody that we're signing up should not be ordering through a full 60 days, if not 90. And we cannot keep signing up people that do not have subscriptions on. You guys, you are doing so much work to help people say yes to products. And if they are not ordering with a subscription on, you are taking away time that you've already invested in this person. And you're also not really setting them up for success because they're not going to have the results that they are hopeful when they hit join. They are hopeful that they're going to feel better or whatever. And if they're not ordering with a subscription on, they're not going to have that. So we got to work on definitely building belief through the ordering process. And it's so valuable. People appreciate it. They're like, oh, great. Sure, fine. We'll talk several times before my next order. I'll let you know, right? All right, I think that's it for that one. We want to move to am I in the next one too? I'm awful. It's both of us. Okay, I love this one. First of all, that's one of my favorite pictures ever. Okay, your posture, you guys. Okay, this at the bottom. Your words in your recruiting either build trust and posture or instantly signal to people that I don't really believe in this, or I'm scared, or I don't know enough, or I feel like I'm bothering you. So, again, when we speak confidently, I want to encourage you. If ever you are sending a message and you start saying the words just or think, erase them and change your sentence. And you'll know what I mean once you start doing it. If you start a message and like, hey, just checking in, erase it. Hey, just wanted to see how you're feeling, erase it. Instead, say, what are you loving right now when you check in? Okay. Or if you start to say, I think this will really help you, instead say, I'm so excited for you to get the products, right? That change in your posture and the way that you are speaking more clearly and confidently is everything throughout the whole conversation. Brittany, did you want to add something to that?
No,
No?
not really.
Okay. So this leads right into here. I'm so passionate about this part, you guys. Shifting your phrasing. I feel like when I started doing this, and this is something that I learned with some of those books that Brittany mentioned earlier, you guys, that book, Exactly What to Say, it's on Audible. I have it on my Audible simply so that I can pull up the chapters because each of the chapters are like listed as a phrase. And if I ever feel stuck in a conversation, I will pull up the Audible and I will find the phrase that I need. Like it's like a little dictionary. And so keep that on hand. But if we shift our phrasing, it's exactly what to say. So again, instead of just checking in again, and I have
Hey,
some of,
Marissa, let's do something fun on this. Why don't you read the
okay,
phrase? Why don't you read the phrase and then I'll read like the switch up so you don't have
okay,
to be
perfect. Good, because I was
just
going
let's
to try to
just
pull them up, but that's more fun.
yeah,
Okay.
that'll be
So
hard.
instead of just checking in again, what would you
What
say?
about wanted to follow up and see where you're at? Are you ready to move forward?
I didn't want to bother you.
I thought of you because, and then tell them why you thought about them.
This might not be for you, but
Hold on.
am I going out of order
It's a
what you
big
have?
list. We had a really good list. Hold on. Hmm. Oh my gosh, where is it? I don't know where this one went. Oh, this might not be for you, but you could say, this could be exactly what you're looking for.
Mhm.
I love that one. And honestly, guys, we use this phrasing a lot in our messages. And so this is actually something I'm going to switch to because I feel like I see this message a lot where we're trying to keep it open-ended for that person, make it not be super pressure situation, but we're also like letting them be like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't for me. Like that's their first thought that we just put into their head. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Instead of, I'm still kind of new to this.
I'm partnered with a team that has all the tools and trainings. You'll never do this alone.
And instead of, no worries if not.
Y'all, how many times do we say this? We're like, I mean, we end the message with, but I mean, no worries if not, right? We've all done that. What if instead you said, if it's not a fit, totally fine, but I didn't want you to miss the chance to hear about it. So good, right?
I
Totally
use that all the
relates to
time.
y'all.
Even if somebody like, I'll say something like that, or, you know, Taylor, I think taught me this one is you from Melissa Eichenhorst. She says, um, before you tell me no, let me just show you what you're saying no to. It's
Yes.
like,
Becca
yes.
uses that one. I learned that one from Becca.
Yeah, I love that. All right. So what about objections? I love objections. In fact, one thing that I love to do with objections is I post about objections. So this is a way that I actually get ahead of objections is I straight talk about them on my social media. So it's too expensive. So when somebody says it's too expensive, I know they don't see the value in what the product is. Because if they knew what the product was going to do for them or the business, then it wouldn't be too expensive. It just wouldn't. And so I will say that not too long ago, probably about, gosh, I would say 4 months ago, I feel like I was running into this a lot, like all the time. And I was like, what is going on? Why is everybody telling me it's too expensive? It is not. I know these people are running around going to Target and whatever else. The Target run is more expensive than Triplex, 100%. And so what I started doing was asking way more questions in my conversations. Before I even shown them a product, I'm just asking way more questions. And I've had people sign up without even asking me how much it is. They just sign up. So switching that will be so helpful. Okay. So if somebody says that to you, we know that we need to work on their belief in the value of the product. Okay. And we can do that by asking questions, digging in. Okay. I'm not consistent with stuff like this. I say this one all the time because that was literally me. I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to buy this to sit on my counter. Okay. So I talk about that. I'm like, I know. I said the same thing, sat on my counter, but I eventually started craving the pink drink. Like I literally wanted it. And I always tell people that was me. So I can show you exactly how to be consistent. It's the simplest system I've ever used. Okay. So helping people work through those. What if it doesn't work? Okay. This is a mindset thing. Well, what if it does? Like, I'm always like, well, what if it does? What if it doesn't work? Then you get your money back. No skin off your back, right? But what if it does? And I love giving people that perspective. Well, what if it does? How would things change for you day by day if it worked? What if you were pooping every day? How would that change your day? What if you weren't snapping at your kids? How would that change your day? And giving people that different lens for something like this, an objection like this, is key. Because you know it, and I know it, when you're in that zone where all you can see is the hole in the ground, right? That's all you can see. And sometimes you just need somebody to come up and lift your chin and be like, look up. It's going to be okay. There's a different perspective, and we just need to open our eyes to it. And so be that person for somebody. Go lift someone's chin and be like, hey, sun is shining. You can do it. Okay. I may just check out the grocery store for them. Oh gosh, this one, right? And you want to be like, you want to immediately just like throw up plexus, like, oh, but the ingredients and da 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 da. Don't, just slow down, take a breath, and ask why. Why? What about this are you still unsure about? What questions can I answer for you? Or what are you worried about? What part of it scares you? And just asking them those. And they'll usually say like, well, I don't know, I've never done something like that before. Or the part where, it has this subscription. I don't really know about that. I can just go buy something at Target. And then you get to build belief in them and why the subscription matters and why all of that is what we love, right? Let me ask my husband or my wife. Nope. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Oh man. I used to die when people would say this to me, but I get it, right? I totally get it. We all want to make sure, yeah, give me their number. Let me call them. Okay. But here again, like you don't know people's relationships, you don't know the dynamic, and that just everybody has their thing, and sometimes it's legit. Most of the times when I've had somebody say this to me, I know it's not real. I'm like, no.
I think Jordan confessed that this is what she told some like Cassandra before she signed up, is she was
Yeah.
like, I think I just told her I was going to ask my husband, but like I never did.
Yeah, I mean, are you asking your husband to book your $300 hair appointment? No, you're not. Like, just saying, you know. So anyway, okay, moving on. Okay, great recruiters ask great
Sorry,
questions.
I got a little
You're
click
good.
happy.
That's perfect. Go ahead, Britt.
All right, y'all, we are wrapping up. This is like our second to last slide, but one thing that we realized, like we were talking through this and we were like, okay, but why are we not getting as many objections? Or what are some things that we feel like we've improved upon as we've been doing this for longer? Great recruiters ask great questions, and they learn how to ask great questions. And so, just yes, of course, we have our conversation flows, but add these to y'all's bank too, because there are some areas where you need to dig a little bit more. So here's some questions we love is how are your BMs? And they say, oh, normal. And you say, oh, okay, great. No, no, no. What does normal mean to you? The amount of times I have people then come back and tell me, oh, I go about once every 3 days. I'm like, oh, honey, that's not normal. Let me help you. Okay. There's the first one. Second one, are you taking any meds? Okay. Then they're going to send you the list and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Can they take Plexus with these meds? Okay. Another important question though, guys, is after they've told you what medications they're taking, ask them, are you happy with those medications and the way they make you feel? Or is one of your reasons for trying Plexus because you want to get off those medications? And listen to their story. They may be on an antidepressant, y'all, that they don't want to get off of. That medication makes them feel good. And it's not your place to judge if they should get off that medication. But they may be on another medication that makes them really nauseous and dizzy. And they're like, I would love to get off of that, right? Ask those questions, get in on their lives a little bit. Ask them how their periods are. The reason is because if they start talking about their periods, you might learn about things like endometriosis, PCOS. You might learn if they've had a hysterectomy. You are going to learn things a little bit about their hormones. And when they have issues with their periods, I'm usually thinking triplex plus, X Factor plus. Okay. Another one is blank. Blank is like a symptom they're telling you is or are headaches something new you're experiencing postpartum, or have you always struggled with this? Now, I chose postpartum, but you could also interject something like pregnancy here, menopause, um, or is this pain something you've experienced since you had your knee surgery only? Or is this a pain you've been having for a long time? Because you might notice that people are like, actually, I have only been struggling with that postpartum. Okay, we can still help them, but it gives you a little bit more information. Okay. Sometimes people send you a symptoms chart and they're like, check, 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 and they check everything. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I think they need every single product. Hold on. I always ask those people because automatically I'm like, okay, they need gut health, right? So done, triplex. But then I'm thinking, what should we add on? Well, instead of me assuming that like they want a very particular product, like maybe they marked something down and I was like, oh, I bet they want to tackle that. I ask them and I say, hey, if you could pick 2 to 3 things on this list to tackle that would make the biggest impact on your day, what would they be? And I'm sometimes surprised. Y'all, sometimes people don't care if they're a little overweight. They care that they have no energy, or they care that they're not going to the bathroom every day. And so that's what we focus on. Cool. Um, the other thing about this is that I never assume. This came up in the chat the other day, and I was so glad that it did because I sometimes, we as humans, we like to guess what that other person is thinking, or we like to guess what they're going to say. And so it is really important that we pause, we read what they're telling us, and then we ask a good question and not just assume something. So sometimes that looks like maybe they're asking us a question about price, and we automatically go, oh gosh, they're going to think it's too expensive. No, what if they just want to know how much it is? And so little things like that, like don't assume those things. Answer their question, and then you can ask another question if you need to, but don't just assume you know what they're going to say. All right. And that kind of leads me into this last one is make sure that whenever you're asking questions, set them up to answer. So those were little things like us saying, hey, if I sent you a 3-minute video, could you watch it right now? And set them up to answer that question instead of you saying, hey, I'm going to send you a video real quick. I want you to watch it and let me know what you think. Well, okay, we literally left no margin to go in and ask them a question. Because if you go in, you'd have to be like, so did you watch it? Or like, so what do you think? you technically already asked them all those things. But what if you said something like, hey, if I send you this 3-minute video, could you take a look? And they say, sure. You say, great, here it is. And then you look at your watch 5 minutes later and you say, what do you think? Okay. Take it like one little step at a time and set them up to give you an answer. And then also set yourself up to follow up. Y'all, I've given out 3 samples this week. Some in all of them in person, some of them porch drops, some of them like face to face. And I've told every single one of them, I say, I'm going to check in with you tomorrow and tell you how to take them. And then I say, I'm going to check in with you in 2 days and see how that went, or whatever. I tell them the timeline and I set myself up to have a follow up, and it's not weird. Or if people are not ready to order products, I say, no problem. I'm going to check in with you in a couple weeks. We may have like an event or something. I'd love to invite you to it, and I'll let you know. Or I'll say, I'm going to let you know. Would you like me to let you know next time we have a sale? And they're like, yeah. So now I've set myself up to go have that follow up, and it's not weird at all. I'm like, oh, hey, remember I told you we were going to have a sale? I told you I'd tell you that. Here I am, right? So set yourself up for those follow ups. Marissa, did you want to touch on anything here on like the setting them up to answer? I know you're big on this too.
Yeah, I'm big on this. I just feel like it's changed the game in my conversation flow. I get a lot more people that actually respond. And since they have already told you that they would watch it, like they're gonna watch it, right? And it just happens. Like even last night, I invited somebody to the Zoom and then she said, oh, sorry, just seeing this. And I said, no problem. Want me to invite you to the next one? And she said, yes, please. And I said, okay, well, actually, can I just send you an 11-minute video real quick? And she said, sure, thank you. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, instead of me waiting until Monday, right, I'm just going to send her this video that I have. It's the Amber Miller one. I love it. And I'm going to send her this video on what the income opportunity is. And then what's great is she might watch it. And then I still invite her to Monday anyway. Right. So it kind of just gives you more space to have more conversation, get more information to them and learn more about what they want. So that's it for us. What questions do you have? We are here and ready to answer anything that may have come up during the call.
Okay, I have can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I put this in the chat a second ago, but I feel like every objection that I'm getting right now, because I agree, sometimes it feels like it goes in clumps of objections. Anyway, the one that I'm getting right now is the I don't want to add anything else to my plate. Simultaneously, like I also don't want to be on social media. So I think that's a really big thing with my age range too right now is people are like social media, which is ironic. So how would you go about that objection? Because I've literally gotten that like 3 times today. So curious.
That's one that I hear a lot also. And I think that's because like my network is also like working moms and like coaches' wives, and there's a lot happening. So like I can really resonate with them. And I just say, listen, I totally get it. Like what we do is hard. Like we are doing the most all day, every day. And I would never want you to come into something feeling like it's adding to your plate. And so at first I'm connecting with them and I'm like, I get it. And I say, as a mom of 4, also working full time and doing a lot solo, like I I understand what you're feeling, and I want you to know that I have definitely mastered a way to do this where I don't feel like it's adding more to my plate. If anything, it's actually allowing me to say yes to more and give me some more freedom. And so I think that you can do the same. Like you can say to them, like, hey, I can show you how to do this in a way that works with your life instead of you feeling like it's tacking on more. And so I would go that route.
Yeah, sometimes I just say, especially with the time thing, I say, how much time do you think I spend on this a day?
Yeah.
And I get answers all over the board. And some people are like, maybe like a couple hours. And I'm like, Nope, not every day. And so like we get to have that conversation then because sometimes their perception is off. About the social media thing, I'll say kind of the same question, but like what scares you about being on social media more? Like what are you concerned about? Can you tell me a little bit more about that? And then just let them talk.
That was like the one that I got recently where she said, I said to her, I said, hey, because she had started Plexus a little bit and then she backed off. Like before, she'd like maybe recruited one person, right? And then she stopped. And I said, hey, like when the contest came up, I said, I feel like our time got cut really short before like all the good stuff happened. And I would love to reopen the conversation with you about doing this again.
Mhm.
And she was the one who came back and she said, can I think about it? And I said, of course. Like think about it. And then I said, what part is like are you most hesitant about? And she's the one who said, just being vulnerable and putting myself out there to get people to start the product. And so we went that route. But I think asking that question is like, well, what part about that do you feel most uncomfortable with or is your biggest fear with it, right? And for some people it might not be adding to their plate because of time, it could be adding to their plate because of stress or because of they feel, you know what I mean, like it could be who knows. So asking those questions, but also Eric Worre on his icon calls, if you guys were on those, he has like a series of questions that I feel like are really helpful for this situation, where you ask them more about what they want, and then you kind of work backwards of like, okay, well then what income are you looking for? I could drop it in the chat. Like what income and how much time would you be willing to work on that? And for how long would you be willing to work that amount of time to get to that income? And it gives you a really clear understanding of what they're willing to do. And I have found those questions to be really helpful too.
Yeah, and Emily made a good point in the comments, and you just touched on this, Marissa, is a lot of objections are rooted in fear. It's like fear of the unknown, fear of not being successful. And so like as you kind of start to ask those questions, those come to light. And I know in this call, y'all, we didn't talk too much. It felt kind of geared towards customers, but y'all, all the same things apply. And so when you're recruiting business builders, so thank you for bringing up like those objections from business builders. Same things apply. And so if, early on in the call, we asked about like when was the last time you did a training? You may need to go rewatch this again and write some things down, or you may need to go revisit some certain things. And so I want to challenge y'all to do that. I want to challenge y'all too in the chats as we are sending message examples or we're saying like, hey, can y'all help me answer this? Pause even before you respond in the chat with like how you would respond and be like, okay, like how can I apply some of that and maybe help this person? um, have a better response today, you know?
Hey,
Yeah,
Bijou, can I chime in real quick?
yeah.
Madeline Ruth, when you were talking about getting those objections, this is something that I have been doing for the last several years that I feel like has worked really, really well. Is I will always respond in a voice message and I'm like, hey, listen, I totally get it. I know that the timing has to be right for you. And like, it is my like desire for like when you start this that you're excited and you're confident and like you're just like ready to roll. And so, in key here, not saying if you decide to do this, switch if with when. And I say, okay, when you decide to say yes to this, what is going to be the most important thing for you? Is it the community? Is it the income? Is it the trips? Like, what is it? And then shut it and I let them answer. And a lot of the times they'll come back and they'll be like, oh, well, it's the community or whatever. And then at that point, I go, okay, great. And I share a little bit of my story with them about what that thing is that they're wanting and how it's blessed me. And then I will invite them to the next opportunity call. And then what I do is I keep it in the back of my mind and I talk to them through my stories about what they're looking for. Because if I know that they are coming to this, if they're not ready to say yes, but because I asked them what they're wanting for, if they want community, then I'm going to go flood my feed with how Plexus has blessed me from the community because I know that they're going to be watching my content. And so just a little tip there. That way you can really get down to the nitty gritty of what they want and you can go talk to them through your social media.
All right, guys, we love you. We know that was really long. Thank y'all for hanging in here with us. Yeah, we're dropping some stuff in the chat now. Go check it out, save it to your phone, put it to favorites, make sure you can find it again. Because, right, if you just save it, it doesn't really do you much good. So, love y'all. See you later.
Bye.